In this episode, I'll be giving my review and reaction to the 2024 film Gladiator II, the sequel to Gladiator. So, let's dive right into Gladiator 2.
Do something, man. People are questioning you. Shut up. Shut up.
Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the DubCast. I specifically remember where I was when I watched Gladiator. I was on a flight to Portugal from Madrid, Spain, and I think Gladiator is one of my favorite movies of all time, and definitely my favorite Russell Crowe movie. Left you thinking about it for a while, and just was a great movie coming out in 2001, I believe. Obviously, a lot of people thought the same way because here we are 23 years later. I'm going to make sure I'm right on that so I don't get flamed. 23 years later, and we get a sequel to Gladiator. Oh, it's 2000, sorry, not 2001. 24 years later, here we are getting a sequel to that Gladiator film. Same director, Ridley Scott, bringing in a whole new cast. Paul Mescal. I remember the world was on fire when Gladiator 2 was coming out with Paul Mescal. Obviously, Pedro Pascal as well, one of the hottest actors in the film industry and TV show industry. Joseph Quinn, same type of thing. And you bring in like Denzel Washington. I had a lot of hype for this movie, but I was a failure in 2024 and didn't watch this in theaters. But I was able to catch this one right before the end of 2025. So I thought this was, unfortunately, there is a lot. Well, not unfortunately. Gladly, maybe there's a lot to live up to in the first Gladiator. So obviously, pretty much no matter what, this was always going to be a step down in comparison to Gladiator, especially after 20 or 20, about 20 years and more of waiting for this new sequel. Even with the same director, different cast, it just felt like this was always in the cards to be probably a little bit worse than Gladiator if at its peak, just because people always love nostalgia and new things can't be good, according to a lot of y'all. But there are some people do like new movies. Anyways, I think being around at the time, there's some mixed reviews on Gladiator 2, and I was supposed to go one day, but then I just didn't go with my friends because I was like doing social things all day. You're at this thing for 7 hours, and it's like I gotta go to this thing for another 6 hours after. I'm not gonna spend my 2.5 hours of like me time going to do more things with them to watch Gladiator 2. So to my friends out there, I'm sorry I didn't show up, but we hung out after that. So, anyways, uh, yeah, I thought this was an interesting take on Gladiator 2. I'm actually pretty surprised it was the same that Ridley Scott did both of these, just watching both of them. Because there's definitely like a little bit of a different tone in my opinion. Although the plot kind of was like, okay, we're just gonna do the same sort of plot once again, um, which I think if you're Ridley Scott, you're kind of hoping that there is like a nostalgia thing there, but people don't like things 20 years later because they're older and they're more grumpy. Um, but I thought overall this was another like okay, like I didn't think this movie was bad at all. I thought this was worth a watch for sure. Um, so let's get into my thoughts and reactions. I'm kind of just blabbering here. So starting it off, we have a weird introduction to the character named Hanno, putting chicken feed through his hands, and then meeting his girl. It's like, okay, maybe just add some early stakes to the movie. There is like some sort of thing that he does with his hands, I guess. That's like a big. I know that was like a big part of the promotion for this movie. It's the main actually picture for this movie, I believe, is like him holding the dirt. He does the thing with the dirt in the hands. So he does the same thing with the chicken feed early on. Um, so we don't really know who this guy is yet. I don't even remember if we were supposed to know who this is coming in. I just remember seeing so many Gladiator 2 commercials, but I don't remember them because I don't really care about commercials. But right off the bat, they're being invaded with this little village that he's in, or this little town. Not even, it's not even little. They have a bunch of people. They have an army but they're being invaded. And I thought this opening battle with the fire cannonballs was hype. You have Hanno and Asherat's side trying to fend off like this big empire, and then unfortunately, our girl Asherat, who we just met, Arishrat, I don't know how to pronounce that, dies right away. So R.I.P. Arishrat. And obviously, Hannah is meant to be our main character, so we can tell that early on. Paul Mescal. Great job by Paul Mescal in this movie, by the way. But R.I.P. Arishrat. I did like the opening battle with the cannonballs, though. And then there's these monkey type things that make their way into the battle, and I didn't really like those. Um, see if I can pull up a picture. But we got introduced to Denzel Washington, who, I've always said I've liked Denzel Washington in basically anything he does, besides Manchurian Candidate. But because I feel like they misused him in that one. But I think Denzel made a welcome appearance in this one. It was a good Denzel movie, which is hard to not do. But Denzel was fun in this one. Oh, yeah, okay. It's the monkeys are used for capital punishment. I'm scared of those motherfuckers. I don't want to deal with no beasts like that. But when you get introduced to Denzel in any movie, it's hype. So hype to see Denzel. We come to find out that Lucilla is the daughter of Marcus Aurelius. Obviously, Marcus Aurelius is like this all-time Roman emperor. So I actually didn't even pick up on this because I think I watched Gladiator in 2022 or 2021. I think it was 2022. So a little bit of ago. I didn't recognize Connie Nielsen reprising her role as the daughter of Marcus Aurelius and the father, or not father, mother of the original Gladiator's son. So that's a big point of this. I think, I don't think they're hiding that from you. I think I was just being dumb and not realizing that. Um, so my one question for my girl Lucilla is why marry Acacius? She was very invested in this relationship with the initial gladiator, Russell Crowe. Didn't care that much to not get remarried. I think that's, I don't want to judge, but felt like, after the events of that, maybe I wouldn't remarry, but I don't know. People change, people move on. You have to move on, as people say. So there you go. Uh, Very awkward family reunion with Hanno, where she's like, I'm actually your mother," and he's like, "F you," because I've been growing up on my own. It's kind of one of those types of storylines, but very awkward as he's kind of making his way into the gladiator scene. So we get one scene or two of him fighting in the Coliseum. It's cool, he's basically just Russell Crowe beasting people. But one of my standout scenes from this one was the Coliseum being filled with water and sharks. That's pure insanity. But like, I didn't even know that was possible. Is that even historically accurate? I don't know, but I did like seeing that. Some people were complaining about like the CGI of this movie. I didn't really notice that, or effects. I didn't really notice that until like people pointed out after. I thought it was good for like a 2024 movie. I thought, I feel like there was very sharp colors, very intense graphics in this scene specifically as well with the sharks in the water. But love the ship battle between Hanno and his crew versus the other ship. And here we go with the politics of it. So there's actually this dual emperor system where we have Macrinus and Thrax. Um, well, no, that's wrong. That's not their names. I think one of those is Denzel Washington, about the character names. Anyways, Denzel Washington is essentially trying to hype up this like super immature emperor of the two, the kid emperor, to like get his power so Denzel can have power. And so they want to get rid of Acacius because Acacius has a lot of respect within the empire right now. He's like the leading general. So this sets up Lucius versus Acacius. Lucius being Hanno. Lucius is the son of Russell Crowe and Connie Nielsen, Lucilla. So he's legacy, which is actually a sad fight to watch because leading into the promos of this, you see this fight being like supposed to play out between Pedro Pascal's character and Paul Mescal's character, so you just assume Pedro Pascal's like an asshole in this movie. But he's kind of likable. Like I don't think he really does much wrong. He's just like kind of the leader of the empire, so he's kind of just meant to do whatever they tell him to do. I didn't. I actually felt pretty empathetic for him, and watching him die sucked. Um, but it was a cool fight between both of them, and I wish we could see a little bit more of that. You know, I feel like some of these action movies and superhero movies actually like lean away from their action. Like speaking of Pedro Pascal, Fantastic Four First Steps, like we just want to see them like fuck up people. We don't really care about the storyline as much, but you know, what are you gonna do? But unfortunately, Acacius is arrowed to death, so R.I.P. Pedro Pascal and Acacius. He won't be in Gladiator 3, I'm guessing. uh, so now that Macrinus is okay, yeah, Macrinus and Thrax. Macrinus is being Denzel Washington. Now we're clocking in. He forces the idiot brother, the younger one, to kill Joseph Quinn, who like is also an idiot, but like is like more of like a actual like leader and actually like knows what's going on. So once he's out of the picture, then Macrinus can really like run his schemes with only one emperor. He has full power. So sad to watch Joseph Quinn go as well. So two of the more solid actors. Well, I guess they're all solid actors in this one, but sad. You know, sad to watch this with Denzel working this kind of political game. Didn't like it, but R.I.P. to Joseph Quinn as well. So now Macrinus has like full power because he's introduced as like the assistant to the emperor, but that's not enough because he kills the other brother now through the ear and shoots Lucilla. So now both emperors are dead. Lucilla is shot, and there's no real leader of this empire. So I guess he steps in as like the leader of the council. Um, but don't worry, our man's Hanno slash Lucius is here to save the day. He gets to kill Macrinus. I thought Macrinus is actually pretty impressive fighting, where you know he's kind of like this like Lord Varys Littlefinger figure, where you're not expecting him to really have the like the power punches and power maneuvers to be able to kill um, Macrinus or not Macrinus to kill Lucius in a fight, but like he did a good enough job, but gets his arm chopped off, and then Lucius gets him and unites the two sides, saying this guy was fucking playing you all. This is the Empire side, and this is like our little rebellion side. So it's imagined that Lucius will fulfill the destiny that Russell Crowe's character could not. Well, he was kind of not really able to, just due to outside circumstances. But our man's Paul Mescal almost just knocked over a lamp, and Lucius is able to like unite the two sides, probably become empire, probably rule the kingdom, and be like just. And so that probably puts like a full circle end to this Gladiator. Little two movies here. I don't see them doing a third one, but they could if they wanted to. Maybe if the money calls, because we can't make original stories these days. So there you go, Gladiator 2. Some very intense action scenes. I think this one heated up as we went along, and not even because the intro, you know, it threw us right into the beginning of that kind of fire stuff. So overall, I gave this a 7.7. I feel like some of the storylines were a little bit weird. I didn't really like the dual empire system going on. And, you know, I think the actors did a good job. It was just kind of, I don't know, it just felt like this one was just kind of a money grab because it's basically the same thing as the first one, but in 2024. So there were some cool aspects of it, and it just didn't hit the same as, I feel like there wasn't enough investment in the characters as the first one, where, you know, Russell Crowe is one of the all-time characters. Paul Mescal was good, yes, but I didn't feel like super empathetic towards him and like as emotional as I did watching the first one. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at on Gladiator 2. So where does this rank against the other movies we reviewed so far? So this is the 84th movie we reviewed so far on the DubCast. Comes in at number 43. So at 7.7, it ties with Extraction 2, Ballerina, The Guilty, and My Cousin Vinny. I would take this movie over all of those slightly, obviously all being 7.7s, except for Extraction 2. And this is the second highest Ridley Scott movie on the list so far. We've done 4, so this falls behind American Gangster, which was an 8.1. This does beat out Blade Runner, the original, which is 6.7, and Legend, which was a 5.5. And we have Pedro Pascal and Joseph Quinn both appearing in Fantastic Four First Steps, those being the only movies I reviewed of each of those actors, I did like this movie a little bit better than that one. So this is now the newest best movie for both those actors. Loses out to The Devil's Advocate, 8.3. Connie Nielsen movie, so this becomes the second best Connie Nielsen movie. And then Denzel, we've done seven. This is our seventh Denzel movie reviewed so far on the channel. Falls right in the middle, losing out to Training Day, which is a 9.1, American Gangster, which is an 8.1, Flight, which is a 7.8, and then beats out The Little Things, Man on Fire, and The Manchurian Candidate, 7.6, 7.3, and 5.7, respectively. So, what do you guys think of Gladiator 2? Is it better than the original? I feel like that's a crazy take. I feel like no one has ever said those words, but it's possible. Yeah, that's where I'm at on it. I thought it was fine. Like, I think it was probably overhated at the time. I think it was just a solid film. So, that's where we're at on Gladiator 2. This is the last scheduled movie review we have so far right now on the channel. More will be coming in the future. Finally caught up on the backlog recording this, so whew, it's been a while. But DubCast 2026, we're shooting for the moon, land upon the stars. So stay tuned. UFC, NFL content, Survivor 50 coming up, maybe some more TV stuff, and always with the movie reviews will be coming out consistently. So appreciate y'all watching this one. Make sure to subscribe if you like the video, like, dislike, leave a comment, interact, watch it again and again so we can get more views on the channel. Yeah, I don't ask for much. No, but no matter if this video gets 0 views, it's worth it for me to make it, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at in Gladiator 2. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Be easy, y'all.